So we're on a tour of the property real quick. Right there in the distance, that's the tasting room. This is the old estate house. And Mark's taking us around. He's going to tell us how many acres they have under vine?
220 under vines right now that are producing. We have about 6 acres of vines that aren't producing yet, that are Italian varietals from northern Italy that we hope are going to do really well in the northern Willamette Valley climate.
Nice. And then when did you guys go your biodynamic?
Biodynamic, we got started in 2005.
Okay.
It took us 3 years to get that certification. So in July of 2008, we got a biodynamic certification. We already had a certification in organics from Stellar.
Okay.
Rudy Marchese is a huge disciple of Rudolf Steiner, who pioneered the biodynamic concept. And here's a view of some of our expansive vineyards back in the back.
Yeah.
Our reservoir. And what we're seeing in the background is the coastal range. So our vineyards back right up to the coastal range. That's still us way over there.
Wow.
Yeah. The entire property is 380 acres. The vines that we're looking at right here are Pinot Gris.
Okay.
We reach somewhere around a 3 ton per acre yield on Pinot Gris here. When we get over to the Pinot Noir plant, you'll notice that they're trellised different. They're only trellised a single way. The plants, if they're double trellis, will produce a lot more clusters and their yield is higher. But in our shorter growing season here in northern Willamette Valley, we don't have enough time and there's not enough photosynthesis to allow to ripen all of the clusters. So we wouldn't achieve the complexity and concentration and the juice that we get out of the grapes.
Gotcha.
I think that's one of the keys that separates Willamette Valley Pinot Noirs from Pinot Noirs from south of here.
Let's take a time out for people in the internet world and pan out. We were just looking over the vineyards to the left side of the screen, which we're panning into now. So that's the back side, the Pinot Gris, Pinot Noir in the distance?
Yes.
Okay. And then this is the Grams block that we're coming up to on the right side of the screen. Single vineyard designate.
Now, when you see the plants rise over there,
yeah,
that's called Entre Deux. That's Pinot Gris. That's our single vineyard designate Pinot Gris.
Okay.
And then the plants you see on the ridge would be Parsons Ridge. That's our single vineyard designate, our other Pinot Noir.
And this is the main entrance to Montinore. Montinore. Tasting room hours 11 to 5. And everything here is accepted. No dogs and no smoking. And this is a reception area, and the tasting bar looks
Now we're going to pour a little Montinore Estates 06 Gewürztraminer. It's a wonderful wine. If you like any kind of spicy foods, this is a great wine to have with spicy foods. In Germany, when a lot of Gewürztraminers are often served in place of beer, whenever someone's having a lighter sausage, one made out of pork or veal, it works really great with grilled sausages and caramelized onions. It's just a perfect match. Montinore Estate, we're going to pour some of our biodynamically produced Montinore Pinot Rosé. It's the first year we've ever made a rosé. This is 50% Pinot Noir grape, 50% Pinot Gris. We left both of the wines in contact with the skin, so that even the Pinot Gris had a little color to it. When we put it in the bottle, we blended it after fermentation. A lot of people will actually make the red wine and make it darker and then just blend a white wine into it. But Pinot Gris has a dark skin to the grape. Just the juice is clear. As a matter of fact, all red wines, except for Alicante Boucher, have clear juice. You only get red from leaving them in contact with the skin. And how they get pink is you leave them in contact with the skin. It's just a little less time. Very dry wine, very similar to something like a Taval from Provence. That would be in southern France in the Rhone region. This is our Borealis. We call it the Northern Whites. A blend of Müller-Thurgau, Gewürztraminer, 17%, 60% Müller-Thurgau, 23 Gewürz, and 17 Pinot Gris.
Okay.
It's a great wine for around holiday times. We brought it out and sent it to the wine club. We thought that at holiday times, it's one of the few times that you might have a group of people where you'd need a dry wine and you also would need a slightly sweet wine, because usually there's, when you have relatives together, not everybody likes the same style.
Right.
This is the one wine that will actually appease both groups.
Nice. That's a smart move.
Now we're pouring our 07 Estate Pinot. This is our introductory Pinot. It's on a little lighter style. I find that this Pinot works really, really good with grilled salmon, duck breast, smoked salmon mousse, Now, if you wanted to have something like a pepper-crusted rack of lamb or prime rib, we would probably take you up into the wine we're going to pour next, which is our Estate Reserve Pinot Noir. Now, Oregonian, our daily newspaper in Portland, rated that in the top 20 of their wines that they rated for 2009. It was also highly recommended for 100% Pinot Noir. This is we can't actually call it port anymore. The Portuguese have decided now that if it's not grown in Portugal, you cannot call it a port, so you can't get a label from the TTB approved that says port. The first label we tried to have the TTB approved was called export, but they didn't have a sense of humor. So port, I think, Pinot really lends itself towards being fortified because of the lightness of the grape. Most people don't realize that in Portugal there are 4 varietals that they put in port, and the heaviest out of the 4 is Tinta Ruiz. Most of us know that grape is what it's called in Spain, and it's known as Tempranillo. And Tempranillo is sort of a medium-bodied grape, very similar to Sangiovese in the fact that it's a long way away from being Syrah or Zinfandel, which is what in California and Eastern Washington, when people make port-style wines, they usually use the big grapes. And I find that, for me, they become the sweetness level is a little cloying. Sometimes on the palate, it's almost viscous because of its thickness. So when we get to the end, and you guys try the port, I think you'll agree with me that once you've had a Pinot made out of port-style wine made out of Pinot, you'll realize that using a lighter style grape is much better. We can't grow Merlot or Syrah here on this end of the Willamette Valley because it's not hot enough.
Right.
It wouldn't ripen. So we buy the fruit from Lonnie Wright. His winery is called the Pines, 1852. The vineyards are in the Dalles. His tasting room is actually in Hood River. So it says Columbia Valley, but we do get it from the Oregon side of the Columbia Valley. Most people think when you see Columbia Valley that it's Washington wine.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of Oregon wines that are from the Columbia Valley.
Okay.
The Merlot is very unusual. It has characteristics, a little herbaceousness that I find that bolsters the character of Merlot. I find it nice and interesting. And it also, one of the reasons that we bring it in is that we often, year after year, will sell out of all of our Pinot Noirs before the next vintage is released. So it's nice to have some red wine in the tasting room.
Nice.
The Syrah is probably one of the most textbook, correctly made Syrahs I've ever seen. Inky in color. Very, very generous on the palate. Aromas of baked berry pies.
Sounds good to me.
Here at Montinore, we're open 7 days a week, 11 to 5. We have live music every Sunday. So if you're coming up to the winery, please check out the website, www.montinore.com. We'll have a clip to the music that's playing on that weekend. And we look forward to showing you our hospitality. Come on up.
Okay. Thanks, Mark.